You know, every nation has these great projects. Some build incredible dams, others shoot for the stars. But a very select few decide to forge their own wings, to design and build a machine from scratch that can touch the sky and defend its borders. This is the story of one of those projects. It's a 4-decade epic of pure ambition, crushing setbacks, and just sheer stubborn perseverance. This is the saga of the Tejas.
And that's a question that goes so much deeper than just engineering, right? It's about building an entire ecosystem from the ground up, mastering technologies that other countries guard like state secrets, and just staying the course when pretty much everyone is telling you it can't be done. The journey of this one aircraft is a masterclass in what it takes to turn a national dream into a high-performance reality.
So, how did this whole saga unfold? Well, we're going to break it down chapter by chapter. We'll start with the initial call to arms, walk through its very difficult evolution, see how it stacks up on the world stage, and finally, look at the incredible legacy it's forging for the future.
Okay, so picture this. It's the 1980s, and the Indian Air Force is facing a serious crisis. Its backbone, the legendary MiG-21, had served for decades, but the fleet was getting old, really old, and the number of combat-ready squadrons was dropping, falling to a dangerously low level. India desperately needed a replacement, but this time, it didn't just want to buy another jet off the shelf. It wanted to build its own.
And man, what a long road it turned out to be. The Light Combat Aircraft Program, or LCA, officially kicked off in the 80s. The final design was locked in by 1990, but it would take another 11 years, all the way until 2001, for the first technology demonstrator to even get its wheels off the ground. This timeline just shows you the immense, multi-decade challenge of creating a supersonic fighter from scratch.
The core idea was incredibly ambitious. Make it the smallest and lightest fighter in its class. And the key to that was this tailless compound delta wing. Now, this design is fantastic for maneuverability, but here's the catch. It's also naturally unstable. Seriously, think of it like trying to balance a pencil on your fingertip. To control it, India had to develop its own digital fly-by-wire system. Basically, a computerized nervous system that makes thousands of tiny adjustments every second just to keep the jet flying straight. A massive achievement all on its own.
And this, right here, this shows you the modern soul of the aircraft. Almost half of its airframe is made of advanced carbon fiber composites, and that is a huge deal. It doesn't just make the jet stronger, it makes it lighter, which is great for performance. And crucially, it makes it stealthier. An all-metal jet lights up an enemy's radar like a Christmas tree. This, not so much.
But look, a great design on paper is one thing. Forging it into a capable war machine through real-world trials, that's a whole other story. The next chapter of the Tejas is all about painful lessons and ultimately a pretty remarkable rebirth.
One of the biggest tests was trying to create a naval version. The team beefed up the undercarriage, developed super complex software for taking off from a ski jump, and they even succeeded in landing on an aircraft carrier. But then, in 2016, the Indian Navy said, no thanks. The reason was simple physics. The engine just wasn't powerful enough to get off a carrier with a full load of weapons. But this wasn't a total failure. Far from it. It was a critical, data-driven lesson that proved exactly what was needed for the future, a much more powerful twin-engine fighter.
All those hard lessons led to the aircraft's true rebirth, the Tejas MK-1A. This is where the jet finally grew up and became a proper 4.5 generation fighter. The old radar was ripped out and replaced with a cutting-edge ASA radar, letting it track multiple targets and resist jamming. It got a modern electronic warfare suite to defend itself, the ability to refuel in midair, and most importantly, it could now fire advanced beyond visual range missiles. It could finally fight from a distance.
And this single number, this tells you everything you need to know about the final verdict. 180. After all the delays, all the debates, the Indian government has committed to buying 180 Tejas M1R jets. This isn't just an order, it's a massive vote of confidence. It's a declaration that this aircraft is now the backbone of the Indian Air Force's future.
By the way, if you're preparing for competitive exams, or you just find this stuff as fascinating as I do, here's a chance to test your knowledge. We've put together a quiz on this very topic so you can see where you stand. It's a great way to revise and practice. The quiz link is right there in the comments section and in the description below. Don't miss it. Give it a try.
So after that long, difficult journey, the Tejas is finally on the world stage. But the big question remains, how does this homegrown hero actually measure up against its toughest rivals out there?
In a close-quarters dogfight, agility is everything, and a key measure of that is the thrust-to-weight ratio. Basically, how much power does the engine have compared to the plane's weight? And right here, you can see the Tejas MK-1A has a clear edge over its main regional competitor, the Sino-Pakistani JF-17. That higher ratio means it can accelerate and climb faster, giving its pilot a huge advantage when the fight gets up close and personal.
But let's dig a little deeper, because this is where it gets really fascinating. The Tejas's composite body makes it stealthier, harder to spot on radar. Its American-made GE engine is widely seen as more reliable than the JF-17's Russian-derived one. But the JF-17 might have one ace up its sleeve, the Chinese PL-15E missile, which claims to have a longer reach. So you have this amazing dynamic, a stealthier, more agile fighter versus one that might have a longer reach.
The fight isn't just in the sky, though. It's also on the sales floor. And here, the Tejas is up against the incredibly successful South Korean FA-50. Now, technologically, the Tejas is the more advanced, purpose-built combat jet. But the FA-50, which actually started its life as a trainer jet, has won a ton of export orders. Why? Well, it's cheaper, it has a proven production line, and it's backed by the American giant Lockheed Martin. It's a harsh reminder that in the global arms market, being better isn't always enough to get the sale.
But all of these experiences, the design hurdles, the lessons from the naval version, the tough comparisons with rivals, it was all leading to something bigger. The next evolution of the Tejas isn't just another upgrade, it's a complete transformation. It's a phoenix rising from the ashes as a whole new class of fighter.
The transformation starts with pure size. Its maximum takeoff weight is set to jump by 4,000 kilograms. That's not just for show. That extra weight is the foundation for everything that comes next. A more powerful engine, more fuel, and a whole lot more firepower. And that extra mass allows for a huge leap in what it can carry, over 2.5 extra tons of weapons. This means it can carry not just more bombs and missiles, but bigger, more powerful weapons that can strike from a safe distance. And this might be the most important change of all. Its combat radius is projected to more than double. Just think about what that means. The Tejas is no longer just a shield, a short-range fighter built to defend its own airspace. It's becoming a spear, a platform that can strike deep into enemy territory. And this is what you get, the Tejas MK-2. It's officially a medium-weight fighter, powered by the much beefier GE F414 engine. It adds canards, those little wings up front, for better performance at supersonic speeds. It's got more hardpoints for weapons, a futuristic panoramic cockpit, and it can carry devastating weapons like the BrahMos NG cruise missile. This is no longer just a replacement for the MiG-21, this is a genuine contender.
But you know, we've talked a lot about the plane itself. To really understand why the Tejas is so important, you have to look beyond the machine. This was never just about building a jet. It was about building a nation's entire industrial capability from the ground up.
This quote really says it all. The Tejas is the living, breathing symbol of India's quest for strategic autonomy, for self-reliance. The program forced the creation of a domestic aerospace industry, developing expertise in everything from flight controls to advanced materials. It means less dependence on foreign countries, which is huge.
And that brings us to the end of our story, which is really just the beginning of the next one. Because the entire 40-year epic of the Tejas, all the struggles, the learning, the triumphs, it was never just about this one aircraft. It was the foundation for everything that's coming next.
All the skills, the technologies, the partnerships that were forged in the fire of the Tejas program, they are now the essential building blocks for India's most ambitious project yet, a true fifth-generation stealth fighter, the AMCA. So in the end, the ultimate legacy of the Tejas won't just be the squadrons flying in the sky, it will be the future generations of even more advanced aircraft that it made possible. It was never just about forging wings, it was about forging a future.